motto is, if it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would get done. Now, it's not my fault. No, seriously, it is not my fault. Don't you be looking at me random like that. You're just as guilty as I am. You all are. Oh, sure, it may be something different, but you all have the same problem. You know, I'll be honest with you. I promised myself time and time again I wasn't going to do it. And after a few days, I thought I had the problem licked. Yes, victory. Then, all of a sudden, BAM! I do it again. Now, you know, so what's the big deal about it? You know, I kind of like it. I'm kind of used to it. I like working under pressure. I'm very comfortable with it. So procrastination is not that big of a deal. I can control it, I think. William James says this: nothing is more fatiguing than an eternal hanging on of an unfinished task. Now, how many of you in here procrastinate? Raise your hands, please. Okay, now keep your hands up. I want those of you with hands up, look around to see who's not raising hands. Are you guys, what, waiting to raise your hands some other time? You put your hands down. You're sitting in the front seat. So I asked my friend Fran. I said, Fran, do you ever procrastinate? He goes, like every day. So I'm going to ask you, procrastination, is it your friend or is it your foe? I say it's both. I say it's both. Let's talk about the friend. Many of you know I have a twin brother. His name is Steve. He's an airline pilot for Alaska Airlines. And do you want to see a picture of him? You don't know my brother Steve, do you? I'll show you a picture of him. Because he's a twin. You never raise your hand. That's what you get. So anyway, so Steve he's an airline pilot. Now, he's actually oops, and I'm double oops. So see, we have two older sisters, Nancy and Carol. Mom and Dad were done with two. You had two, right? After two, that's enough. Well, 4 years later came the oops. It was a very hot night. It was the summertime in El Paso, and Mom gets pregnant. Well, Mom and Dad, before they had kids, if they had a boy, they were naming their son Steve. Well, of course, Nancy came, Carol came, no Steve, so they kind of blew that out. But when she got pregnant again and found out having a boy, well, his name's going to be Steve. They didn't plan on that I was going to be coming along on this church help. So, Steve, the names, I've always liked his name, Steve. I mean, it's smooth. It's kind of jazz, Steve. It's easy on the ear. You know, you have famous Steves out there. You got, for you older people like Lawrence, you got Steve McQueen, right? Or Bookham Dano, Steve McGarrett from Hawaii Five-0. And then for people like John Fast, you got Steve Urkel. But there Steve is a cool name. Me, no, I'm Larry. You got the name Larry. Why is it that people feel like they have to make an accent with my name? It's not Larry, it's Larry, or Laurie, if you're from down under, Laurie, or Larry. And when you say it, you make a face, Larry. Anyway, I got stuck with the name Larry. But there are some famous people out there with my name as well. You know, Larry, the Campbell guy. Or you got the Three Stooges, right? Larry, Curly, and Moe. No, it wasn't Steve Curly and Moe. No, it's Larry Curly and Moe. And then the fun one. You're at a dinner party, and what's your name? Oh, I'm Larry, and my brother Larry. Right? You never have. Oh, I'm Steve, my brother Steve. No, it's Larry. And so anyway, well, getting back to my brother Steve, and procrastination. He was born first, and the only reason was because I procrastinated coming out. So the whole point of procrastination being your friend is you can learn to laugh at yourself. So it can be a positive thing. Now procrastination can be a foe. Case in point, my friend Barry. From college, he was a director of a singing group. We'd go around the country and sing and all that. Well, some of you know I fly small aircraft, little single engine, 2-seater, 4-seater airplanes. So I thought, you know, one day I'm going to take Barry up flying. And so the time came, he was coming back to Denver. I said, Barry, hey, I'd love to take you flying. Great, we'll do it. So Thursday morning, we pick up. We go out to Front Range, which is Watkins by DIA. And it's like, we're flying in a Cessna 150. Now, if you know what a Cessna 150, flying in a Cessna 150 is like riding the trunk of a VW bug. You know, you're next to each other, shoulder to shoulder. If you wear deodorant, it didn't do you any good. And you smell each other's breath, all of this stuff. So long short, we're flying along, we do our hour, and we come in for a landing, and Barry says, I don't feel too good. At that moment, I realized I procrastinated in giving him the bag. You know, the bag. Well, normally there are three options. First option is the bag. Well, that one wasn't there. Second option is you open the window. Now, if you ever open a window going 110 miles an hour, you know nothing ever leaves. It always just falls back. So that option didn't work. So option number 3 is the side of the plane, inside. So remember, we're shoulder to shoulder. He does this thing. Not once. No, not twice. 3 times. And you understand, I'm trying to land. So long and short of it, we land and we pull off, and I'm thinking, oh great, 45 minutes back to Roar, rent the steam cleaner, 45 minutes back, 2 hours clean the plane, and on top of that I get paid $80 for the flying. But I procrastinated because I didn't give him the bag. Now, what's this have to do with you? Understand you're probably not going to change much. But in your life, you could take one item in your life and say, I'm not going to procrastinate on that. As the political prophet Mark Twain said, people change, but they don't change much. So I don't expect you to change your procrastination style and become a non-procrastinator, but you can do one thing, is say, I'm not going to be late. I'm not going to do this or do that. It's your choice. So I'm going to leave you. Procrastination, is it your friend or is it your foe? I turned 50 in April. And the last thing is, on procrastination is, you know you're getting old when it takes too much effort to procrastinate.